Happy What If Wednesday, everybody. It's the final one for Season 1 of Marvel Studios' What If Episode 9. What if the Watcher broke his oath? Of course, after last week's phenomenal episode where the Watcher battled it out with Ultron, he knew he had to form the Guardians of the Multiverse, which we have seen in many different trailers. We knew they were all coming to form together, and everything finally came full circle, and we actually got to really much peek into different universes and see what actually happened in those finales and those grim endings as well. There's a lot of fun aspects to talk about here, and I'm so excited to have you guys here with me. So if you guys are new here and you guys are geeks like me, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so we can keep talking more movie and TV content over here on a daily basis. When Hawkeye comes out, I'll be there first day. When Boba Fett comes out, I'll be here right there, and I'm so excited to have you guys here with me once again. So make sure to also comment down below your guys' overall thoughts on What If in general, and would you guys like a What If ranking of every single episode? If you guys are interested in that, let me know. I'm thinking about doing a video, but only if you guys think it is a good idea. Without further ado, let's get into this review with a non-spoiler fashion. A lot of great things happen in here, and one of the big things to really just give a bravo to is the animation style. God, it just... As much as the first episode, I wasn't fully invested with the animation yet, every episode got better and better, and this one in particular, well, not my favorite episode, it still kicked a lot of ass, especially with the animation here. Just firing on all forms, seeing the protection spell that Doctor Strange put over all the Guardians of the Multiverse, seeing how that reflected the fights, the choreography, everything of that nature was just awesome to see. And one of the cool things was actually seeing how this Guardians of the Multiverse were formed. The Watcher pretty much came to all of them, "You have been chosen, you have been chosen." And the only character that I actually wish we would have gotten more time inside their world was Gamora in the Thanos armor with Tony Stark. That was an interesting development, and I want more of that, because I actually wish they would have dove into that world a little bit more, because I was like, what? Where is this coming from? But again, Gamora looked cool. That was an interesting aspect. But again, seeing everyone kind of come together, getting a little bit more in the inside of Captain Carter, who we haven't seen since pretty much the first episode. And one of the cool things was she's in the timeline of Winter Soldier right now, which I thought was actually pretty cool, and how much it highlighted the beginning of that intro fight scene of Captain America fighting, of course, Balrog. So that was really cool to see that kind of go down and really much give that flashback of nostalgia back to when I saw Winter Soldier back in the theater. And jumping in, then of course we see Star-Lord in his world going up against frickin' the giant planet dude Ego. He saves Star-Lord, he gets called in. Killmonger himself, they even dragged him in, and of course now his world's all fine and dandy. Of course, by the end of this episode, he called in Stephen Strange at the end of last episode, and the whole Guardians again come together. Thor, and that was a funny moment when he was trying to recruit Thor, and Thor's just not listening. Thor's just going hammer lock, like hammer shuffle, literally. Pulls him up, brings him in here. They go to this pub type of thing. They're having this development of how they're going to be able to plan this attack out. And actually seeing the Guardians of the Multiverse work, I wouldn't have minded that this finale was like an hour or more, because it would have been nice to see them actually come together. And I'm actually curious to see if this Guardians of the Multiverse does eventually tie in, or maybe come into a live action form. I'm still heavily contending that a majority of these characters will actually show up in Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness. I won't be surprised if we see them. I think we're going to see the Doctor Strange, this Supreme Sorcerer version of him. I think we are going to see Captain Carter. And I want to say that I think T'Challa as Star-Lord was probably one of the main prime candidates for that. And sadly, because Chadwick Boseman passed away, I don't think we're going to get that anymore, which makes me really sad, because this was technically his final performance tonight. And again, I miss him. I love Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, and I thought he was just a great, I already loved him in general in the role, but I loved seeing him as T'Challa become Star-Lord. I thought that was just a fun aspect to it all, and he brought such charisma that we already loved and knew Chadwick to have. So, rest in peace to him. Thank you for bringing to life such a beautiful and fantastic character, and I love this final piece with you, and especially the way that he worked with all the different other characters. And I think that was the big thing, is that just like how the first Avengers worked so well in there, the same thing works kind of here for Guardians of the Multiverse, and seeing how they all relate and how they all work coinciding with one another as a team, which was just exciting to see, because again, this is like maybe the only time we'll ever get them. Who knows? But I also really like how we actually got an inside look into see where the where all these characters were. Obviously, Killmonger was about to be dethroned by not Peggy Carter, freaking Tony Stark's lover, and of course also Shuri. They were about to dethrone him, and then as you look into the other ones, we get a little bit of an insight of where Captain Carter's not working. She's pretty much the Avengers to that world. Then we also get another look in to see where, like, okay, so obviously, like we saw, Nick Fury had left off. All of his Avengers were dead besides Captain Marvel and Captain America. And we see at the end of this episode that Black Widow, even though she does not have a world to go back to, Uatu gave her a world to go back to, which was just freaking awesome. I got chills from that. I wanted to see more of that. Captain America teaming up with Captain Marvel. We did not get any of that in the Avengers movies, besides like a little bit of Avengers Endgame. I needed more of that right now. That was freaking exciting. I need that in live action. Come on. But we see those happy endings kind of come about towards the very end, and I was very impressed to see how they were able to do that. One of the big things, though, was, of course, the fight scene between Ultron, which I thought was just glorious. Seeing them all team up against him and using these, you know, plans that they had come up with, seeing Thor totally go up against him. One of the cool moments was when Thor threw his hammer and then Doctor Strange multiplied the hammers and they were going all back and forth. That was freaking spectacular. Seeing this Doctor Strange was probably one of the coolest things. I love Doctor Strange's combat style, and seeing when he's knowing more. Of course, we see a little bit of that in Infinity War, and now, of course, in this. I cannot wait to see him in Multiverse of Madness because it's going to be madness, I can tell you. But seeing the octopus arms when he turns into that demon, it was insane, and I just really ate up all the different action scenes in here. Of course, once they finally get down to the Ultron thing, they go back to the actual apocalyptic world. We see a little bit more of development in there. That Black Widow comes into play and all sorts of things like that. Fun things there, but it really comes down to the end of how can we defeat this version of Ultron. The Stomper thing that freaking Gamora had did not work, so what's the best next case scenario? Well, we have this little arrow that has our little friend from Hydra in it. Let's use that. And of course, Captain Carter and Black Widow team up, do this entire thing, gets and stabs that thing right in between his eye, breaks it open, destroys his eye. He wakes up, but of course the virus infects him. And all of a sudden, of course, Killmonger betrays them for just a second when it goes pretty much between an ex-agent of Hydra, or I guess he still is an agent of Hydra, Killmonger, and the Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange, all going at it with one another. The Sorcerer pretty much sacrifices himself, but he just in general goes back to his little cube. And of course, Killmonger, boom, dead. The world is saved. The multiverse is saved. But everyone must go back to their worlds, like we mentioned. And, you know, it was that sad ending for Black Widow, but I was very optimistic to see how she just came into that world. And overall, this was just a satisfying episode. It was a satisfying finale, and I'm really excited to see what they can do with Season 2. For me, I do want to see some stuff with Shang-Chi. I think that would be freaking awesome, because they have mentioned that they will be diving into the Phase 4 movies. The Eternals is a big one, which I'm saying, come on, one of the main concepts has to be, what if the Eternals had interfered when Thanos had attacked? That's just like the most basic concept idea that you could possibly do for it, and I want to see it, because who knows what crazy stuff could have gone down around there. But overall, I really liked What If. I think there was like only maybe 2-3 episodes that I wasn't fully digging all the way, but as a new animated series for Marvel Studios to really expand their world in a new direction, I think this was a pretty cool series. And of course, the end credit scene for this, giving Captain Carter her maybe satisfaction, and hopefully Steve Rogers is in the Hydra Stomper. I did think for a second it was going to go a little bit evil, because that's how What If has been. It's always going evil, but thankfully it didn't, at least not yet. I was thinking, oh, maybe he's like the Winter Soldier in this world, but I don't think so. I think they're going to give her that little bit of a happy ending. But thank you guys so much for tuning in every single Wednesday for this. It was a blast. I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. Again, make sure to comment down below. I try to reply back to every single one of you guys and have that great discussion, or at least read what you guys are saying. I promise I read every single thing. But make sure to hit that like and subscribe button going forward. We are going to be covering Hawkeye over here, and I hope to see you there. So, of course, until next time, stay classy.